Sally Hawkins.
Good morning. We are at Zip World.
To go on Titan. I'm excited.
I'm a bit nervous.
A bit nervous. I'm excited. Yeah, it's a lovely day for it. Not as hot as yesterday.
Thank goodness.
Yesterday was just El Scorpio. Today is a little bit less. It's nice. It's very nice. Yeah. So there you go. So Sally decided in her wisdom,
madness,
because last time I did one of these, it was in Cornwall, and Sally went, I don't want to watch. But now she's decided she wants to do one. So here we are. Let's go and do it.
It's a good day. It's a good day. I can't be trusted, I promise.
Very, very large.
She's heard it all before.
So I'm just going to drop this bit over your head, okay?
Yep.
There we go. Grab this.
Just fulfill the first one. Keep you up, yeah.
Give me this. Alright. We used to sort out the I should do that there.
Right, I'll get these.
At you. I don't know how you feel, but I am proper nervous now.
I'm not too bad actually.
When we get to not watch your head, you've got to do doctor special. Hand yourself. Okay. There's a few places they'll try and shout out before we get there. Give you a chance. Give it a bit.
Cool.
Good.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Wow.
Not sure about this now.
Oh, there's no going back now. We're going to come down there in a minute. That's kind of where we're staying over there, isn't it? I can find it. Or is it more to the left? Wow.
Oh, well, welcome to Blaine Knife Stiniog. Have you a keep? Sorry, am I standing in your way now?
No, no, you're not.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. If you'd have come to Blaine in the 1700s, all you would have seen would have been fields, a couple of farms, sheep, a cottage or two, and a population of probably around 12 to 25 people. You come back in the 19th century, the population is now 12,000. And the reason for the increase was the opening of the slate mines. The first one opened in 1760. Was the Duffus Quarry, opened by a man called Methuselah Jones, believe it or not.
Methuselah.
Methuselah, it's a name and a half of that. From Bethesda. He claims he had a dream, and was told to come to the mountains of Stiniog, where he would make his fortune. And basically came here, found the slate, and he did make a fortune. A lot of money. Right, this here, what you can see here, this is the Oakley Quarry, reckoned to be the biggest slate mine in the world. You know, I showed you what a cavern looked like underground. Yep. We have 250, they have 800.
Wow.
800. We have 25 miles of tunnels, they have 57 miles of tunnels. We have 16 levels, they have 27 levels. That is absolutely humongous. You go in there and you don't know where you're going, you'll be lucky if you come back. Right, if you have a look, you can see a zigzag line and you can see a straight line. Can you all make that out?
Yep.
Yep. The zigzag line, if you look at the top, you see this little shed. That's the timekeeper's office. The zigzag line was the way in and out for the quarrymen for work in the morning. Get up there 7 o'clock on the dot. You get there 1 minute late, then they'll tell you, no, we don't do late here. Go home and come back tomorrow and be on time. You decided to argue with him, he gave you one more warning, you continued to argue, he'd sack you. There was 10, 15 men at the bottom of the hill here all looking for a job, he couldn't care less whether you sacked you or not. The time you got home, not only were you jobless, you were homeless as well. Because the job and the home came together, they owned the house as well. The incline, oh sorry, the straight line, look at the top of the straight line and see there's yeah, I forgot the name now. It's a winch house, sorry, it's a winch house. There's no motor in that winch house, there never was a motor in the winch house. The incline has two sets of tracks on it, narrow gauge, like these. This is what it was for. It was for the slate quarries.
Right.
Okay. Right. I'll explain that first to you. That's the winch house. There's no motor. It worked on a gravity basis. So if you wanted to pull something up, you had to send something heavier down. So the weight of the heavier goods going down pull the lighter goods up. In other words, when they came in empty, they put the full ones on at the top, send them down, and pull the empties up. Right. These were coming from Porthmadog. In Porthmadog, the owners also had ships. These are the ships in Porthmadog, 12.5 miles away. At the suggestion of the owner of this place, they built a railway line from Blaina to Porthmadog to carry the slates. They built it on a very slow incline, very, very gentle incline, so much you wouldn't realise you were going up, it was so slow. So when it got, so they had one horse pull these empty wagons up to Blaina, with stop just at the bottom of them. They would then take off the empties, send them up, send down the full ones. They would take the horse off, and the very last wagon on that line was called the dandy. It was just for the horse. So the horse only had to pull empty wagons, it never had to pull full ones. So it pulled up the empty ones, they uncoupled the horse and put it into the dandy wagon, gave it some feed, and that was its job done. And then got a free ride back to Porthmadog. Brilliant. So there was no carriages except for the horse. The only guys that were on this train were called brakemen, and their job was to obviously operate the brake, and they just sat on top of the wagons. There was no comfort at all for them. So basically when it was loaded, horses on the back, all they done, let the handbrake off, and believe it or not, it free-wheeled the 12.5 miles all the way back to Porthmadog. Wow. Very clever. Shouldn't have technology like that now. Right. The question we always get asked, why is there so much waste? Okay. There's over 200 million tonnes of waste here. And the reason for that is for every 10 tonnes they brought up, they threw away 9 tonnes. They only used the 1 tonne. And the reason for that is the only thing they made here, ever made here, was roofing slates. Nice. And I assume you don't know how a roofing slate is made. So I have to. There we go. Right. You get a block of slate, they cut it into you get the slate from underground, they bring it up, put it on the saw, they cut it down to a block. I've got photographs of blocks, I should have put one out. So the blocks like that, and they split it in half. The reason they do it in half is the pressure is equal on both sides. So they take that half, and they split that in half. And they take that half, and they split that in half, down to 1/8 of an inch. That they can get 8 slates out of an inch. Good quality slate. Okay. It's then put into those little wagons. Sorry, it's then passed to the split. That's the splitter. He then passes it to the dresser. This is where I use the photographs. I've got photographs of all this. A dressing machine. Do you remember the old grass cutting machine, the one that you pushed long? Yeah. It had blades that used to turn. Yeah. Well, if you can imagine that sort of huge size, exactly the same thing. So as it turns, you put the slate in, it comes down, crunch. Actually, I'll show you what I can just grab most of them. Yep. And then we'll I don't normally bring all this off. That's it when it starts up. There we go. Right, that's the splitter. That's the chap who's splitting the slate. That's the block. These are the blocks. That's the chap who's splitting the slate. Once he splits it, he leaves it here. And this is the dresser. Can you see it? Can you make it out?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. It's exactly like a big lawnmower, isn't it? Yeah. So he feeds it in, and the blade comes round and cuts the slate, and then he cuts it. He'll take it back out, and there's a sort of steps that he can put the slate into, depending on how long or width he wants the slate. When he's done that, he then puts them into those wagons that showed you, those little wagons. Every level had railway lines on it, so it would be outside. They then push it along that level, whichever level they were on, to the incline, down the incline to the next level, along that level, down the incline to the next level, until eventually it ended up down there.
Genius.
We're all experts in slate now, aren't they? Right. So what they're doing now with this waste is to crush it down to smaller to use for hardcore for roads. And they'll crush it even smaller. You can go to your garden centre and you buy a little bag of it.
Right.
Or if you look at this grey building over here on the other side of the road, they crush it down to a powder and they mix it with resin, and they make tiles, they make worktops, and they crush it down to powder, they put it into makeup, and they put it into toothpaste. So you could have been using our slate for years and never knew. Right, and another thing to note, especially here, this is an 18th century tip. If you look, you don't see any large pieces of slate. They're all little small pieces. There was children as young as 10 working in the quarry, underground, pushing the wagons. The reason these are all small is because there was no heavy machinery in the 1800s. Everything was done by hand. So every single piece of slate you see, every single one has been handled by someone at some time.
Wow.
To get it up to where it is now. Okay. Right, I'll just point a few places out in Blanger for you. Oh, sorry, this place opened in 1818. Forgot to tell you. 1818. 1882. There was a collapse inside that mountain. 6.25 million tons collapsed inside that mountain. Nobody got hurt, not one person.
Wow.
Wow.
Any
Brilliant.
idea why? Because it was a Sunday.
Oh, it was a Sunday.
1800s, nobody worked on Sundays.
Right.
Everyone was at church. There you go. There was over 50 churches in Blainford staying at the time. Very God-fearing people. Go to church twice on a Sunday. Right, okay, I'll just point out a few places.
Oh, wow.
It is no wow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone ready?
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Okay, well set. Let's
Let's
go.
waddle. That's the platform, and that is the line we're going to go down. Right, see you on the other camera in a moment.
Can I see the weight on this? Yeah. Wouldn't say that. You're allowed.
Just watch with your camera if you're going to hold it like
Yeah.
you don't want to whack it on the gate as you go.
Good point. Is that one on?
Yeah, it turns on automatically and then it'll turn off automatically at the base as well. Okay? Fancy equipment. Okay, pop your feet behind this bar down on the ground here. There you go. And you might just want to tuck your camera in just before we go.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Tucked.
There you go.
Ready, Sal?
Ready?
armpits are so fresh. Oh! How was that?
Absolutely amazing.
Wonderful, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Guys, thank you.
No one told us about the walk.
I feel like I'm doing little pigeon steps.
You're doing grand. One down, one to go. Did you find that took your breath away a bit, or no? No, you're braver than me then. See, what a view! It's fabulous. So, if I didn't say already, this is the second of the two zip lines. The second one is shorter than the first, but it's steeper. And the fact that it's steeper, it means it's quicker. So I think the first one was Bravo, and this one is Charlie. And what I want to know is, where's Alpha? Anyway, don't worry, I think they're nearly ready. They radio to the guys down below, down there, make sure that the landing area, I guess, is clear and safe, and then they open the gate, and then they give us instructions, and it's down to you to release yourself. And if I'm honest, it took a bit of convincing. I had to convince myself that I had to release my feet to go. Feels very, very comfortable under your bottom, but as my wife will tell you, it's not particularly comfortable to walk in. Just beautiful. I love the camping pods down here. Yeah, I'd do it again. Absolutely. These kind of two different types of parachutes, and I'm guessing the one that's on the young lady on the end here is the type of one that's behind me. So he's about to radio up. Right, gates open.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go!
And now it's our turn.
No losers in this. My patter stinks.
And the other one. And the walk, of course.
Oh, the walk's free.
Yeah,
Walk's
thanks
free.
for that.
Yeah. The walk is a free PT lesson. You think about your health here, see? Do it first one.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, really good. Where we drove up from, you see where the lorries are parked. You can see where the lorries are parked, where we came up from.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go!
Amazing. Just amazing.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, you pick a bit
No, it's great. Thank you.
Cheers.
So much.
Thank you. That was fabulous. Well,
I absolutely loved every minute of it. All those people that didn't think I'd do it, I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it.
I think someone said on Facebook last night, do Zip World
if you're man enough.
Yeah.
I'm woman enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best thing ever.
Gorgeous.